I'm Annie Baker Atwood. My company is Red Boots Reiki, and I love giving people energy so that they can end up refreshed. Reiki is energy. My business is Red Boots Reiki, and what sets me apart is I go to you to tune you up energetically. And with Reiki, you have all of this energy running around, and each of the energy cells can deplete just like the cell on just like your phone battery. And what I do with Reiki is I'm a power cord, and I charge up all your little batteries inside of you so that you can be more efficient and be refreshed. I have a passion for Reiki because I knew nothing about it, and I always knew that I had healing hands, but I really couldn't figure out how Reiki would work, because how can you heal somebody without touching them? And I'm a very curious learner, and so if something seems absolutely incredulous to me, I go and I study it. And the first day that I walked into the Reiki studio, I felt like I found people who spoke my language. And all of a sudden, a lot of what I had felt intuitively, I now had words to describe it. I am a product of private schools. I went to Tabor Academy, and then I went to Tufts University as an undergraduate, went back to Tufts as a grad student and have a degree in urban and environmental policy. I went into teaching in the public school after my second baby was born, because that just worked really, really well for the family. I'm still in the public school, and I hold a 6th year in educational leadership, which means I can be anything up to and including an assistant superintendent, but I currently teach 2nd grade. I started the business a year ago. I took my first Reiki training a year ago and decided very early on, this is for me. So I had no money, and I went and I bought a table, and it fit perfectly into my car. And so I said, okay, well, I'll go to people, and that's going to be my business model. I'm going to support women who are exhausted and need a really good night's sleep in between their workday and then their second shift of parenting. So Reiki is just the word for energy, and we have energy centers in our body, and what they can get just depleted. And as a Reiki practitioner, I'm your power cord and I'm charging you up. But the centers are always in there, and you can power your own self up. And I use the analogy that we all brush our teeth every day, but we still go and get our teeth cleaned professionally twice a year. And so your self-care, which is really important, facilitates being able to go to someone who's going to do it a little deeper for you. And so you have all of this energy running around you, and sometimes it gets, like a car out of gas. Sometimes a whole lot gets stuck if there's a little traffic jam. And as a Reiki practitioner, I just align you up and make it so that you do what you do best. I do, if we are going to use the analogy of a car, I keep your car tuned up. I put the gas in the car, and I'm working on the internal beings of the car, which you don't usually see. A massage therapist is working on the external of your car, so that would be going through the car wash. And massage therapy is an incredibly effective way of working on your muscles. One of the major differences with Reiki is you're always dressed and I don't touch you, which is interesting. People will say, oh, your hands are so warm. And I'll say, and they're like, oh, they're cold. And I say, yeah, that's your energy regenerating. And they're like, wow, that's really cool that I can do that just on my own. So I'm working on your energy systems, I'm not touching you, and you stay fully dressed, which means that it's quick. Sometimes massage, you're all oily at the end of it, and it can take a while, and there's a certain amount of length that it needs to take. And with Reiki, it's based on you and me. What is it that you need right now? I remember my son said, Mom, you have 10 minutes. Because I've I need to go meet friends. I said, okay. And so within 10 minutes, I was able to recharge him. With my women friends, we come in here, we share space, we have coffee after, so it will take longer. Using the analogy of gas tanks, if your gas tank is empty, it takes longer to fill it. So certain parts of your body are going to collect different energy cells, and those energy cells may need more of an energy drink, is what I call it. And I feel it when I have my hands waggling, my hands over, and it's almost a cyclical pulse. And once it slows down, I'm like, okay, those energy cells are full, and I can go to another set of energy cells. With athletes, I can usually feel if there's been an injury. And in that case, I definitely add extra energy to wherever the injury was, either current or past. And so I'll notice a lot of knees go from being an athlete, or if you've just gone through one of your best workouts ever and you're sore, I can feel it. So someone who's carrying something really heavy, this area will need more of an energy drink. And for demonstration purposes of what my hand waggles really mean, I'm going to be going through the patterns, and we're just going to pretend a person is here. The first thing I do is I start and I open up all of the chakras, or the energy centers. And this kind of freaks people out because they're like, oh my gosh, she's waggling her hands, what is she doing? And what I like to say is you can't fill your gas tank until you open up your gas tank. So I'm just opening up gas tanks. After that, when somebody's on their back, I need to check in with their energy centers, because this is going to give me an idea of where they need the biggest energy drink. So I start on their chest. And again, remember, Reiki, I'm not actually touching any person. I check in with their gut, how they're doing with their instincts. And often if somebody's making a lot of decisions or starting school, this is an area that needs a big energy drink. So to all you college students out there, practice self-care by strengthening that part of you. Next, I'm going to go to this part and check in with how you're feeling. This is your digestion. This is having all of your senses running. Next, I go to hips to make sure that your hips are rounded, because hips are really important in making sure that you can connect from the earth to the sky, from the sky to the earth. After that, I take care of your throat, this part of you, to make sure that you're feeling heard. And for many people, if they're in a relationship with anybody, whether it's work or people, and they're not feeling heard, this is where energy gets stuck. After I've kind of gone through the patterns and figured out what's going on and where we need the most energy, I go into the headspace. And in the headspace, I hang out with my hands waggling over you, and often this is where people go into the deepest way of being relaxed and often fall asleep. And in this place, I can really send messages to specific parts to energize you. And the message might be calm. It might be to a specific part of your body that has an injury, or it just might be, you're awesome. Energize away. You're doing a fantastic job of what you're doing. For athletes, this is where I would really reinforce whatever message you are working on. So if you are a distance runner and you're upping your mileage, I might say, forever feet, forever fast feet. And just that mantra will help your energy cells align with what you're doing. After I'm done, and you're also going to see this little hand waggle, where I kind of make sure that I get everything. After I do that, I stand up and I close your aura, and I ask you to roll over, and then you can fall asleep again. And I work on your back. And the thing about your chakra centers is they're in the middle of you. And so I'm getting information about what needs strengthening from your front when I check in on the front. And then when I go back and check in on the back, I'm actually strengthening and aligning. For someone with less mobility, I don't do the back pattern when they're on their tummy. I just let them lie and I waggle away on their front. And so on the back, I get both of the back, and the spine is interesting because your spine really captures a lot of, or it absorbs a lot of what's going on between being firmly grounded and energized. So there's a lot of pathways, a lot of energy pathways. And one of the things I really want to emphasize about energy is it needs to move. And so although I'm recharging your energy cells, those cells need to go and move. So if I gas up your car, you need to get back on the highway and continue driving. You can't just stay in my parking lot. So I continue along with the back. Interestingly, the back of the knees is where a lot of energy gets stuck, especially energy around grief. And so I will be able to feel, and it feels like a cycle and a rhythm. I'm able to feel when things get stuck, and I'm able to just give your body space to energize and space to heal. And I make sure that I work on the very last pattern, which is on your feet, because your feet ground you to the earth, and being grounded and fully present is one of the biggest parts of self-care. So you're not going off into some headspace where you're all wound up tightly about nothing. Finally, I need to close all the gas tanks, which I do in a circle pattern. And again, people don't always see this because they're either asleep or lying face down. And I make sure that I seal you up with a big energy boost, which looks like this. And then I close up your energy field, which is also called an aura, so that you have some personal space in here where you're energized, and other people's energy isn't going to try to take ownership of that. You're in charge of your own energy. And then you wake up and you sit up, and I help you off the table and make sure that we have some time to chat. Often we'll chat just sitting here because we can just have our conversation. And then I pack up my table and I put it in my car, and I wish you your merry way. And I often hear back from my clients the next day, I slept so well. Or they hop off the table and they say, I feel so much lighter. And this is what I do when you're with me. But here's what you can do when you're with you. Each of your energy centers carries a different message. So here's what I do with my friends at work or someone who's feeling overwhelmed. You put your hand in between your hips and you say, I am fully present. You put your hand on your belly button and you say, I use all my senses. Your hand underneath your rib cage and you say, I trust my gut. Your hand on your heart and you say, I choose joy. Your hand on your throat and you say, I speak kindly to myself and others. Your hand on your forehead and you say, I use my knowledge. Your hand above you and you always say, I let light shine through me. And that is activated each one of your energy centers. It's centered you. It doesn't take very long, and you're good to go. Good question. There's a tremendous amount of vulnerability when someone is in a really relaxed state. And so there needs to be a high level of trust that when someone is so relaxed that I'm bringing just positive thoughts to them and I'm not kind of tangling with any brain or tangling with any spirits. I am allowing this person's energy cells access to an energy source, which is unlimited, but it can feel very vulnerable. And a lot of times I have clients fall right asleep on my table, and I kind of hover over them, make sure they don't roll off. But that's very common, that people will just fall asleep. In New Haven, it's on my way home from school. And so my car houses my table beautifully, and I go to you and show up with my red boots, and this table comes in a nice package, and I set up either in your office or in your house, and we share space. I use a lot of my own Facebook page. Most of it is word of mouth. 90% of it is word of mouth. Being in the sailing community and in my teacher community, people say, oh, okay, Annie's doing Reiki, I'd love to try it. But I do have a website, www.redbootsreiki.com, and all of my information is on that. I'm the sole owner of Red Boots Reiki, so I answer every question and every phone call, me. I think what sets me apart is I'm pretty mainstream looking, and I'm very approachable, and I have a smile all the time, and so people want to be around someone who's happy. I'm also exceptionally good at this, so there's never been a doubt in my mind that I'm going to be successful as a Reiki practitioner, because I'm really good at it. I can develop a level of understanding with someone very quickly so that they feel comfortable receiving the energy. I had no idea that this would happen, but sometimes you're just you and you make it happen and you smile and you're amused. That self-care is super important, and I'm here to help with that, and I'm also here to teach you how to do it on yourself so that you can have a very, very quick way of aligning yourself anytime you're going into a difficult situation or coming out of a difficult situation or waiting in the car while your child finishes ballet. There's very, very quick ways to integrate Reiki into your life. Have an open heart and an open mind, and things will fall in place, and it may not be exactly the way you envisioned. And so you have to let go of that, of your perfect idea, because it's going to be perfect however it comes out. And one of the things I got asked recently on the radio show was, well, what about people who say, well, I'll pursue my dream when I'm 20 pounds lighter, when I have more money, all these whens. And I said, well, it's a lot more fun if you just say, I'm a perfect me right now, and I'm going to go for my dream. And whether or not how you look doesn't matter to the universe. They just want to support you in your dream.